What did you think when Eddie Hearn came out and said, I'm open to signing Tank Davis, and I'll overpay for him just to get under Leonard Ellerbe's skin?
Well, I think it's been no secret that my opinion of him, I think he's the biggest fucking clown in all of boxing. And I have a very, very good reason why I say that. You know, here it is, a guy that has openly told the entire world that he was coming to America to take over boxing. Okay, let's leave that right there. He's coming to America to take over boxing. And he had a budget of well over $1 billion. I repeat, $1 billion. And what he has done, he has come over to the United States and didn't know the first thing about the marketplace at all. And excuse me for cursing again.
No problem.
And he's fucked off over $1 billion. And there's nothing to show for it. Nothing other than what I am happy though for the fighters who got paid, you know, who got paid a lot of money. I'm very happy about that. But as far as a businessman, you know, just think about this for a second. If he was an NBA general manager and he was given a budget, you know, because obviously everyone has a salary cap to build teams, what do you think would happen? You've spent all this money and you haven't developed a franchise, a winning franchise. You would get fired the same way in the NFL. You know, you be a NFL GM, you have a budget. Yeah. You know, you have a salary cap. You got to be within that, and you expect to bring in the best players because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And that's one thing he's really good at with promoting. He's really done a good job with the women. He's done
women boxing.
Yeah, I give him credit where credit is due. But as far as the American market, he knows nothing about it because he doesn't have anything to show for it. And when you look at the Zone USA, it's been a failure. And it's been well documented. That's not only my opinion, those are facts. Yeah. You know, and he speaks on things because what it is that he's a very jealous guy. He's a very jealous guy. And what it is that, you know, he thought that he was gonna be able to come over here because he got the big checkbook and just, but it's a method to this. We understand, myself, Al Heyman, and Floyd Mayweather, we understand what this marketplace is. When you look at Mayweather Promotions, we hold all the records for the biggest pay-per-views in the history of the sport, the biggest live gates in the history of the sport. So that should tell you everything what you need to know.
Yeah. Talking about Eddie Hearn, he said, quote, "Why are we the biggest global promotional company in the world, bar none? Leonard Ellerbe, not even relevant, actually in the boxing industry. When you talk about top promoters in the world, do you even mention Leonard Ellerbe? Let's be honest, not in a million years, but you're going to mention Eddie Hearn."
Well, because he's the loudest, he has the loudest mouth. You know, he wants to be bigger than the fighters, and that's a fact. I mean, Bob will tell you that, Lou DiBella will tell you that, any of the excellent promoters, the guys who are over here, they'll tell you that. You know, he's just a loudmouth because it's about whoever talked the loudest. And again, you can't come over to the United States thinking you going to be loud, and that don't get you nowhere. You got to understand what the marketplace looks like. When you're signing fighters, you got to understand, okay, who are you going to match them up with? You don't have no access to any of the fighters, the top fighters that are out there. You have a bunch of very good fighters, but at the end of the day, who are they going to fight? Yeah. You haven't made no big fights yet. And as it relates to his knowledge of understanding how to match fights, look what he did to Anthony Joshua. You know, I feel really bad. Joshua's a nice young man, and I think he's a terrific fighter. But here it is. There's no promoter that would put their fighter, as big as Anthony Joshua is overseas, put him in with Andy Ruiz in 3 weeks' notice. Who does that? You know, you completely have, excuse my friends, fucked up Anthony Joshua's career. You've kind of done the same thing with Canelo, and this is why. Because when you look at Canelo, and if we're honest, when you look at Canelo was a much bigger fighter than he was when he signed to that app that nobody watches. You know, his numbers have gone down drastically. If you look at his last pay-per-view fight just recently with Bivol, it was trash. You know, Alvarez and Plant just did between 750 and 800,000. You know, they did like a third of that, almost a third, a little over 300,000. You know, you look at the live gate, they did 18 million with he did 18 million with Plant. This gate right here wasn't even $9 million. And it's just an example of that Canelo's popularity has gone down drastically because, again, he signed to an app that nobody watches. So all the fighters over there, they're not getting the visibility that they deserve. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody watches the zone. Nobody watches the zone. And he was the same guy that said pay-per-view was dead and spent a bunch of money on all these slogans. And it's just, again, he's a clown. And everyone knows that. That's why you just laugh. And I'm not going to go back and forth with him because he know what time of day it is.
When did the beef start? Do you recall what was the?
He know what it is. He and it's something very personal. And I gave him a phone call. I gave him a phone call a while ago. He know what time of day it is. And it's just that, again, he again, I don't want to go back into all of that because, again, I try to be as professional as I possibly can. But that's the one guy that I can honestly say that if I had the opportunity, I stump him out.
Wow.